Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a review and week of the Melt Cosmetics Vida palette. When they released their entire More Eternal collection, I was so excited about it. I knew I had to do 5 looks with both of the palettes, so I will link down below my first impression on the entire collection if you want to see swatches and my initial impressions, and then also my week of Muerte, where I also did my quick thoughts on that palette and did 5 looks in case you're curious. I'm going to do a summed up review of the entire collection probably in a week or two. I've had so much fun playing with everything, but for now let's just focus in on the Vida palette. I'm sure you've already seen the packaging and everything. It is absolutely stunning, but I'm just going to talk about the formula really quickly and I'm going to talk about the formula really quickly and the performance and how I liked the shades. So this palette has 8 mattes and 2 shimmers. There is a really bright green metallic and then a really bright orange metallic, and I do really like both of those. I feel like this side of the palette is a complete look, this side of the palette is a complete look, so I think that even though there are only 2 metallic shades, they do play well with what you have and they're not super close to each other. They're definitely super different metallics. I think that this palette definitely benefits from pulling in some singles or another palette, especially I was pulling in my Terra Moon singles just for like inner corner highlights and stuff. If you don't want to do the same 2 metallics, then you might want to use this as more of a companion palette, which I don't think is a big deal at all. But on the plus side of that, like the other side, is that the mattes in here I really, really love. I think that they're fantastic. I'm not normally a matte look kind of girl, like I love my shimmers, but I feel like this color scheme is actually super inspiring, and every single time I went to play with it, I just got more and more inspired. I really love just the selection of colors, and it kind of took me by surprise because originally between the Muerte and the Vida palette, I was so much more drawn to the Muerte, but I think I actually like the Vida more. It took me by surprise. It is so nice and beautiful, and I just love the combinations of these shades here because I feel like there's super bright greens, a little bit of grunge, and then super bright warm tones. Whereas a lot of palettes with this kind of color story of some really warm neutrals and greens, I feel like the tones are just different. A lot of times it's like really grungy greens and really rich warm tones, whereas these are super bright. And well, actually the whole thing is super bright except for your 2 deepening shades here, and you've got one little pop of neutral, which I think is a really nice, it's a good transition shade. So I think that this definitely ended up being super unique. I also think that it's pretty beginner friendly because there are light shades, there's medium shades, there's deeper shades, so you can do a full look and blend it out. Whereas just like comparing really quickly with the Muerte palette, there's so many deep shades that I had to really sit there and blend and blend and blend in order to get them to go from like deep to light and do a good transition. Whereas this, there are transition shades and there's several, and especially this shade Amor Eterno is such a beautiful yellowy green, and you can definitely pull it green if you use it with the greens, but you can also use it with the orange and the red to make it more of just a true primary yellow and get more of a transition, and you could use it either way basically. So I think that's a really nice shade, in the mixture of yellow to green in that is perfect to be able to make it more versatile for the entire palette. I feel like the mattes in here blended really well for me. I had no problems with patchiness or them looking dry on my eyes, so I really appreciate that. And overall, I didn't have any fallout except for the metallic shades Serape and Alegria. I did get fallout from those, and it's actually interesting because I don't think it's on the packaging here, but this palette is considered a pressed pigment palette, not an eyeshadow palette, and I believe it is because the shade Alegria, the metallic, is not FDA approved for use on the eyes in the US because I think that it is supposed to stain. I didn't have any problems with staining or anything. It's whatever pigments are in there. I do normally get staining from super red shadows, and I didn't with this palette, but just letting you know that it is considered a pressed pigment palette because of that one shade alone. The Muerte palette is considered an eyeshadow palette. Oh, and also going off, I totally just got on a tangent, but the fallout that I got from that shade Alegria is like awful. The reason it's awful is because it sticks to the skin. Like, you can use a powder and it will not wipe away, and then it gets super red underneath my eyes, and I always have to end up like cleaning it off, going with more concealer. So if you are planning on using that shade for a look, I would definitely recommend doing your eye look before you do your face. So that's my overall thoughts on the palette. I really like it. The formula is good and it inspires me, which is everything. I think if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it an A-, and that would just be because I wish that there was one more shimmer in here, probably just because that's my personal preference. But like I said, I had a lot of fun just pulling in some of my Terra Moon shadows and doing a little extra something with that. So now let's go ahead and jump right on into the looks. Alright y'all, so let's go ahead and jump on into day 1 of the week of Vida palette. Super excited about this. So I think I'm going to do kind of a fun neutral look today. I'm going to go ahead and start off with this shade right here called Atole. And I'm going to go ahead and just start that off in my crease. Just going to blend it out a little bit and build it up. I'm also going to go ahead and throw that shade along my lower lash line as well. Oh, I went into the wrong color. Dang it. Okay, well, I guess I know what I'm doing next. Was not paying attention. Go ahead and take a little bit of this brown right here called Chocolate and just gonna pop that onto my lower lash line as well, since I have no choice now. I'm also gonna take some of that brown on my fluffy brush and just throw that into my outer V. I just kind of blend it out. Gonna take a little bit more of that brown on a smaller brush and just do that a little bit more precise. Just keep building it up. And then again, just going back with my fluffy brush and blending out the edges. I feel like this is the most neutral look I've done in a hot minute. Alright, so I have this liner from the Amor Eternal collection from Melt, and this is the shade Cultura, and it's such a beautiful kind of like mustardy, orangey, yellow shade. I just think it's so beautiful. I really want to do like more of like a look with this than rather than just using it as eyeliner, so I thought I would go ahead and put this on my lid today. I know it is kind of reaching outside of the palette for a very big part of the look. Went ahead and put some on my brush, kind of dabbed it out so it's not chunky or anything, and I'm gonna put that onto my lid. Okay, so it just kind of looks like straight up orange. It looks so much more yellow when I swatched it originally. So maybe you could actually literally just go in with like Sol or Pan Dulce and get the same kind of look. We'll see. I might go in with those afterwards to kind of blend. We're already here. I'm also just going to go ahead and pop a little bit of that in my waterline. Kind of getting a little bit of darker because there was some black left on this brush that I thought I wiped off, but apparently not good enough. I think I might go in with a little bit of Pan Dulce just to kind of set that a little bit and make it brighter. I'm just going to start that off on the outer half here. I'm going to go ahead and grab some of Sol. I feel like this is so different than how I originally planned this look going. Ooh, I like that combo. I'm going to take a little bit more of the brown. Just kind of blend the outer corner here. Alright, last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of Terra Moon's Red Giant. And I'm going to pop that onto the inner corner. Okay, really quickly off camera, I'm just going to go ahead and throw on some mascara and I'll be right back. Alright, so now for highlighter, I'm going to go ahead and use the Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade Fair. I love this highlighter and it's not official, but I kind of have a low-key goal of hitting pan in this before the end of the year. And I'm like super like in there, but I haven't been using it as much because I've been doing so many cool tone looks. So hopefully I can use it a lot this week. I don't know if I'm going to hit pan or not, but there's a big dip. Lips, I'm going to use the Jouer Lip Balm in the shade Amaryllis, which is kind of a really pretty brownie nude. Alright y'all, so this is the finished look for day 1. I really love how it turned out. It's different than what I originally expected, but I think it's super pretty and it is like a really fun kind of mixture between color and neutral, so I hope you like it. Now let's go ahead and jump on into day 2. Alright y'all, so for day 2, I really want to do like a super red look, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with this shade right here called Mexicana. And I'm going to start that off with a big fluffy brush just to kind of sheer it out a little bit. And just popping that right into my crease. And then just blending upwards. I'm starting off with just a little tiny bit of product. And then just slowly building it up. A nice transition going out of that, and I'm going to keep building it up, but really quickly I thought I'd go ahead and start off my lower lash line with that same shade. Just throw it on to kind of get that connected look. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and take the Sigma E27 detail blending brush. I'm super excited about this. I finally just picked up their 3 new detail blenders whenever I had like a 45% off code. They're just super small, great for smaller eyes, so I'm excited to test them out. And I'm going to take that same shade, Mexicana, and I'm going to start building it up. You can see just how much more intense it picks up with when you use a smaller brush. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that all the way through my crease and then on the inner and the outer part of my eye, just because I'm thinking this is gonna end up being a little bit more of a halo eye. Not super defined, but just a little bit. I think I'm gonna go back in a little bit more heavily with that, just to match the intensity. Alright, so now I'm gonna go ahead and dip into just a little bit of chocolate because I want to add just a little bit of depth, but I don't want it to not be red, so I'm just gonna be very minimal. And I'm taking the E42 from Sigma, and I'm just gonna put this on the outer and inner part of my eye. Alright, and then I'm just going back in with the red just to lightly blend that out a little bit more. I do on the lid on the lower lash line, so I'm going to go ahead and take some of that brown and just pop it on the inner and outer part with my big fluffy brush and lightly blending the edges really quickly. Alright, so now for the center of my lid, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the MBA Cosmetics Glitter Foil and Liner FX, which is just like a glitter primer. I'm actually going to go ahead and just apply this with my finger, so it's not super precise. Just going to tap it onto the middle of my lid. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take Alegría, the orange metallic shade, and I'm just going to use my finger because why not? And I'm going to pop that onto the center of my lid. I'm going to give that a second to dry down fully before I try to blend, but I'm going to go back into some more of Mexicana just because I was kind of trying to decide if I wanted to go in with a little bit of Alegría on the lower lash line, but I think I actually just want to pop Mexicana on super intense and call it a day. Just keep it pretty matte down there. Alright, so now I feel like the lid is just like very orange and then brown, so I'm going to go ahead and take some more of the red on that same little pencil brush, and I'm just going to pop it in between the orange and the brown just to bring, that didn't show up that much, let me try again, just to bring a little bit more of that red in. Alright, last but not least, for my inner corner, I'm going to go ahead and take Illuminación highlighter from the More Eternal collection. I'm just going to pick it up as heavily as I possibly can with my pencil brush because I do want it to be a pretty intense inner corner. And then I'm also going to go ahead and just take some setting spray and wet it, and then just going to pop it on. I'm also going to take whatever's left over on that brush and just lightly highlight underneath my brow bone. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and use the Immortelle gel liner, and I'm going to do a little line on my upper lash line and throw this in my waterline. I just feel like whenever I do a super bright red or pink look, that black liner really brings it back down to earth. Alright, really quickly I'm going to go ahead and apply the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, so for highlighter today, I'm going to go ahead and again just take the Illuminación highlighter just because I feel like obviously it'll match and it'll be super pretty with this look. Every day, the print on this highlighter is like fading more and more. I've been trying to just like stick to this side, but it makes me really sad because it's so beautiful. And then for lips, I'm going to go ahead and use the Lunar Beauty lip gloss in the shade Dreamy, which is just kind of a sheer peachy kind of color. I just want to do a very soft lip today because I feel like these are super dramatic eyes. Alright, so this is the finished look for day 2, and I really love how it turned out. It is pretty much exactly what I was envisioning in my mind, just a super bright, bold halo red smoky eye. That's a lot of adjectives, but I really like how it turned out, so now let's go ahead and jump on into day 3. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump on into day 3 with Vida, and I really want to do a super green look. So I had this idea in my mind to do Fortuna liner and kind of smudge it out and then go in with the shadows because I'm not really good at smudging liner, but I just have like this idea going in my head. So I think I'm going to try and do that today. We're going to see. We will see. I already lost my liner brush. So I'm just picking up a little bit on the Melt Cosmetics Precision brush, and I'm gonna pop that on my lash line starting off, and then I'll just try and blend it out. Just gonna take a little tiny brush and just use that to help blend. also going to go ahead and take that shade on a little liner brush just to get super, super precise. Alright, so there's how it looks right now. It does not have to be perfect because I'm going to go in with some eyeshadow now. I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with this yellowy green right here called Amor Eterno. And I'm going to pop that right into my crease. And then just blend upwards. Now I'm going to go ahead and take Papel Picado a little bit lower down. But I think I'm just going to use that same brush just to make it easy. I'm going to pop that right onto my lid. I love greens like this. Okay, so that's blended out pretty well, but I'm just going to take a little bit more of that shade on a tiny brush and just make sure it's blended as good as it possibly can be between the liner and that shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and take just a little touch of Agua Ardiente, this shade right here, which looks to be a gray when you look in the palette, but it's actually a really pretty olivey type shade. And I'm going to take just the tiniest little amount and just pop that onto my outer V, just because I felt like that kind of area was a little bit blank, just the way that I did it. And I'm just going to kind of blend it out. And then I'm going to take some more of Papel Picado, the previous green, and blend that on top. So it's just like the tiniest little bit of depth and nothing crazy. Alright, so I'm going to jump back into Fortuna liner and I'm going to add just another line on my lash line just to make sure it's super rich and deep, as close as it can possibly get. And then I'm also going to pop some in my waterline. Alright, so I'm picking some more of that bright green Papel Picado up and I'm just going to blend that along the lower lash line. I'm being a little bit more careful with it just because I want it to be pretty precise. Alright, so I'm grabbing some more of Agua Ardiente, that olive, and just gonna pop that. Alright, for my inner corner today, I'm gonna go ahead and take Terra Moon's Eon because it has kind of a yellow and a green shift to it, and I think it'll be really pretty. Oh yeah, that was a really good inner corner choice for this look. I don't know if you guys can see that, the green shift. And then it's gold. Alright, so that's pretty much the eye look. I absolutely love how it turned out. I feel like it's one of my favorite green looks I've done in a really long time. I'm going to go ahead quickly, throw on some mascara off camera, and I'll be right back. Alright, for highlighter today, I'm going to go ahead and use the Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade Fair, which is just a really beautiful gold shade. And then last but not least, I'm going to go in with the Milani lipstick in the shade Bahama Beige, which is a really pretty warm tone. Alright, so this is the finished look for day 3, and I honestly love it so much. It might be my favorite look I've done with the entire Amor Eterno collection so far. It's just so pretty. I just love the combination, even though it's pretty simple. I mean, it's just that smoked out liner, and then I used, what, like 3 shades, and then 4. Okay, so it's not that simple. But anyways, I absolutely loved how it turned out. I cannot wait to do these greens again and use the metallic green that's in the palette. I might do that tomorrow, maybe. So let's go ahead and jump on into day 4. Alright, so jumping right on into day 4, I wanted to do more of like a sunset type eye today. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with this shade right here called Amor Eterno. And I'm going to start that off with a big fluffy brush and just throw that into my crease as my transition shade, or at least my first transition shade. There's going to be a lot of color in the crease. I really like that this color has just a little bit of green in it and it's a lot of yellow, so I feel like it kind of can be used for either color story, so I wanted to show that. I'm going to do another look with it tomorrow going fully green, which will be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and take that shade along my lower lash line. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take a touch of Soul, and I'm going to pop that just a little bit lower down in my crease using a slightly smaller fluffy brush. I'm also going to go ahead and take a little bit of that shade along the lower lash line. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and take some of Pan Dulce, taking that on another slightly smaller but still a little bit fluffy brush, and I'm going to put that right into the lowest portion of my crease and start deepening. I'm going to go back in with that previous orange Soul and just blend between the 2 shades with my fluffier mid fluffy brush, the second fluffy brush I used. Also taking some of Pan Dulce that deeper orange and just popping it along the lower lash line. I'm going to go ahead and take that pencil brush I used originally on the lower lash line and just slightly blend that out with no additional product. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take this red right here called Mexicana, and I'm going to pop that onto my outer V first, and then just slowly bring it in. I think I'm mostly just going to focus it on the outer V. Also going to go ahead and take a little bit of that along the lower lash line. So sometimes my eye does this thing where it doesn't want to stick to the outer V if I use a ton of shades, and you can see that happening here, but it's not happening on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do a shimmer all over the lid, and then I'll go back into the outer V shade and it should blend better. I'm going to use Alegria, this orangey red one right here, and I'm going to spray it just to see how that goes. Then I'm just going to go ahead and put that all over my lid. So pretty. So I think that actually looks pretty good with it all over the lid like that, and I'm just gonna leave my crease the way it is. It looks fine, and I also just went ahead and cleaned up underneath my eyes, and then I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna put more red, but not anymore. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually I'm gonna go back into a touch more of Soul just to kind of blend out the lower lash line. I want it to be just a touch more intense. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more of Mexicana, the bright red, and just blend that out as well. All right, for my inner corner, I'm going to go ahead and take Terra Moon's Solar Flare. And I am just going to kind of blend that with the just inner part of the lid right here so it's not a harsh line. All right, for liner today, I'm going to go ahead and take Cultura, and I'm going to put that in my waterline, and then I'm going to take the black shade Immortelle, and I'm going to do some liner. Probably just going to speed it up though. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw on some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, for highlighter today, I'm going to go ahead and take JJ Cosmetics Stefano, which is a really pretty kind of white gold. Alright, and then for lips today, I'm so excited because I'm going to be using the H&M lipstick in the shade Brandy Snap. I've been wanting to try H&M's beauty products in general, but especially their lipsticks for the longest time, and my really sweet friend Lily sent this to me along with another more nude shade that I already lost. I'm so frustrated. I know it's somewhere in front of me, I just don't see it at the moment, but this shade is kind of like a really nice warm orangey fall tone, so I'm super excited to try it out. Ooh, that's even more orange than I thought it'd be. Alright, so this is the finished look. This lippy is so beautiful and glossy and such a pretty shade of orange. I wasn't even expecting it. It's like the perfect fall lip in a bullet. I feel like all the colors I own like this are super matte liquid lipsticks, so I love it. Thank you so much, Lily. Can't wait to try the other one when I find it. Soy un regreto. Tú sabes. So this is the finished look for day 4. I absolutely love it. I feel like it's so warm and rich, and I just think it's so cool seeing the difference between the looks I did with the Muerte palette and the looks I did with the Vida palette, because I feel like this is so lively. Like it's a whole mood. It's an aesthetic. So let's go ahead and jump on into day 5. Alright y'all, so let's go ahead and jump on into day 5. Super excited to do another green look, and I think I'm actually going to go ahead and start off with my darkest shade, Agua Ardiente, first. And I'm going to go ahead and just pop that on my outer V, and then just blend it out a little bit. I'm also going to take that shade on a pencil brush and just connect the outer V to the lower lash line. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take that same brush and just completely clean it off with my little Shop Missy cleaner. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Amor Eterno, and I'm going to pop that into the front part of my eye right here. Ooh, actually, I kind of had a look in mind, and now I'm kind of changing my decision because I feel like those two shades look so cool together. I mean, I'm still going to do the same colors, just maybe slightly change the placement I originally planned for. So I'm just going to kind of blend that out. You can see the difference of how this color applies when you use it with a very dense, smaller little brush rather than with a fluffy brush like I used in yesterday's look. I'm also going to go ahead and take that shade and pop it onto my inner corner. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the green right here called Papel Picado, and I'm going to use that same brush again. I just cleaned it off. And I'm going to use that to blend between the two shades. Again, just going to go ahead and wipe off this little brush. This is the Sigma E27. I'm really, really liking it. And we're just going to lightly blend out the edges of the shadow. I'm going to take the tiniest bit more of Agua Ardiente and just slightly blend. Alright, so I'm going to go back into that neon green Papel Picado, and I'm going to pop it on my lower lash line in between Amor Eterno and Agua Ardiente. Honestly, for this look, I think it'd be so cool to take the yellow in more, the green down, and just like do a full matte kind of look. I think that'd be so pretty. But I haven't used Serape yet, the green metallic, so I'm going to go ahead and use it, even though I kind of am digging the idea of a matte look. But I'm going to use the green. I mean, it is a really pretty shade. It's like an electric green. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and take a little bit of that on a brush and just slightly use that to blend it in the crease a little bit more. I don't want it to be super precise. I want it to be just a little bit more soft. I'm going back in with a little bit more of the yellow and just popping that on the inner corner and just brightening it up a little bit more. Alright, really quickly off camera, I'm going to go ahead and add the Ardency Inn Liner in the shade Lemon in my waterline, throw on some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, so for highlighter today, I'm going to go ahead and take the Give Me Glow Warm Lights loose highlighter. Whew. Okay. Forgot how intense that is. So I just dabbed off the extra chapstick that was on my lips, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Lisa Eldridge lipstick in the shade Velvet Fawn. I've been dying to use this again. I think it'll be pretty. So this is the finished look for day 5, and I really love how it turned out. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. I do like the metallic green on the lid, but I think that this would have been such a cool all matte look, so maybe I'll have to do that next time I get a chance to play with this palette. I'm super into the idea of that look and slightly regretting. Maybe I should have just done the metallic green on the lower lash line and did the matte lid. That would have been really pretty. So that's everything. I really hope you enjoyed this week of Vida, and I would love for y'all to comment down below which look was your favorite. I always think it's so interesting to hear which one stood out the most. I think my favorite was probably day 1. Either day 1 or day 3, I think, but probably day 1. So I'd love to hear what yours was, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.